Hey friends, it's Tuesday night, time for our Worship Express. I'm in the sanctuary tonight, if you couldn't tell. And thanks to Pastor Gary, it's nice and warm in here. I wasn't sure that I needed it, but when I walked in and felt the warmth, it was definitely appreciated. So thank you for that. Tonight I want to talk to you about the Holy Spirit. And I know we've talked about the Holy Spirit in the past, but there's just something about this that kind of got a hold of me this week, and I really want to share this with you. Have you ever thought about how the Holy Spirit can help us, can help you? Think about the Holy Spirit being the energy of God's presence, the wind of God, so to speak. You can feel it, but you can't always see it. You can feel the wind, but you don't really see the wind unless you see trees moving. You're still not seeing the wind, you're seeing the effects of the wind. Jesus sent his Holy Spirit to be with us. Last week we talked about how Simon Peter and Jesus made it personal for Peter by going fishing with him. He had performed miracles in front of him. He had preached from the boat to thousands of people. But until Jesus made it personal for Peter by going fishing with him and showing him how he could catch all these fish and then saying, we're going to go be fishers of men, that's when it really hit Peter that this is for real and he is who he says he is. He wants to do that in your life too. In Romans chapter 8, verse 6, it says this: the mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. I don't know about you guys, but I think I prefer life and peace over death right now. So what I want to do is I kind of want you to just kind of take a deep breath and release it. And then I'm going to walk you through a situation. So you have to use your imagination for this and envision this. But I want you to imagine that you are walking into a very overgrown, beautiful wildflower space, just a big garden of overgrown wildflowers. And you're not alone, you're walking with the Holy Spirit. And as you're there, preparing a space, pulling weeds, trying to make it into a more beautiful area, you come in contact with a poisonous root. And the Holy Spirit says, you might want to stay away from that one. It's deadly. And then you say to the Holy Spirit, then why would it be in this garden full of beautiful flowers? The Holy Spirit says to you, by itself, it's poisonous. But paired with this flower, the nectar from the flower, and this root together provide a wonderful healing agent that only the two of these things can provide. So then the question is posed to you by the Holy Spirit, why do you judge what's good and what's evil? And it got me thinking, that's what we do. That's what we do here on earth. We judge what's good and what's evil by the way that it makes us feel or by what we've seen, instead of thinking about maybe together with the Holy Spirit, something that might be poisonous could be something that's healing to someone else. So the conversation goes on, guiding us, living in us. When we pay attention, it can make sense of things that don't always make sense. So the conversation goes on, continues. The Holy Spirit says, you are this mess of beautiful, overgrown wild flowers in this garden, but beautifully progressing. So what we see, what we feel like our life might be like sometimes is a beautiful, maybe not beautiful, but a mess of an overgrown garden. What God sees and what the Holy Spirit sees is progress, and allowing the Holy Spirit to help us weed through some of that stuff to get to the good stuff, to get to the parts that we need to feel better about some things. You know, if you imagine, this is what I picture the Holy Spirit to be like, is as soft-spoken, nurturing encourager that loves me so, so much. And if you imagine that, walking through a garden with the Holy Spirit, and that's what you imagine, I think anything that would be said would make sense. This is just for, I don't know, spiritual entertainment, if you will. In John 16, verse 7, it's titled, "The Work of the Holy Spirit." This is Jesus talking to his disciples. "Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away. For if I do not, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you." Basically saying, I have to go, but I'm sending my Holy Spirit. I'm sending my Spirit to be with you. So you're never alone. I'm sure there are people in this world who reject God, reject the Holy Spirit, reject the idea of Jesus. But I know what Jesus has done for me and my life. And I would much rather be walking with the Holy Spirit and turning to him for guidance, to help me when it's time to make decisions, when it's time to not overthink something or not let it get to me so deeply. It's a gift. The Holy Spirit is a gift to us. And I want to leave you with a final thought. You know, a lot of times we hear the language of, I try to do better. I try to save money. I try to pray more. I try to go to church. I try to be a better friend. I try to be a better wife or a better mother or whatever it might be. We try, right? I am trusting myself enough and God to rethink that word. Instead of try, I'm going to train myself to do these things. If you look at it from an athlete's perspective, athletes don't try to shoot the basket. They don't try to swim the laps. They don't try to hit the volleyball. They train. They train their bodies to do those things so that they perform well, so that they have the confidence to perform well. So if we are trying to build a closer relationship with God, we can keep trying, but we have to train ourselves to get into our devotional, train ourselves to seek the Holy Spirit first, train ourselves to pray, to be thankful, to allow ourselves to be consumed by his love. So that is the thought that I want to leave you with. It's just kind of an imaginative piece, you know, walking through a garden like that. But I think it's powerful. And I think that when you are dealing with something that's really hard, that's really heavy, that consumes you, seeking the Holy Spirit first and listening to the guidance, it's powerful. It's very powerful. So I want to leave you with that. And I hope you have a great week. And I will see you next time.